That fan seems very loud right now. Um, I've thought about what I wanted to say on this video for like a few days now. Maybe? I don't know. Time is weird to me, so could have been like just 2 days, could have all been just today. I don't know. Um, my mental health, it's a bit weird now. It feels weird how I made so many videos about things I was genuinely going through, just for me to now not really have anything to say about it. Thing I said about my assignments, I turned in my first guided note sheet today in biology, except this is the one time we had two papers due in a day, so still missed something. Yeah, the teacher seemed shocked when I logged up to get the thing checked. Reasonably so. I hope I can keep doing it, but the only reason I finished it is because we had extra time since we had two papers to do it. That was the only reason I got it done. Where I was like, I got enough time to get the summary in, let me finish this whole thing, and yeah, I didn't even end up finishing the vocabulary in the second one after that. But yeah, my mental health, it's it's weird because like what I've been noticing is that like whenever I feel very depressed and have like a lot of things that worry me, I get the sense that things are at least happening. Like I have things going on in my life to be paying attention to, and when that doesn't happen, that doesn't mean I'm feeling happy. That just means nothing bad is happening to make me feel bad, and so it's more like I'm just content, sort of. But that feels very empty, is the thing. So I don't feel necessarily like having a happy week. I haven't had a depressive week in a while. But contentness is just emptiness, you know? I I don't want to say this like I'm complaining because I really shouldn't be. And so I've been trying not to talk to myself like it's a complaint that I'm not feeling awful anymore. But like I don't know what to do with this feeling anymore. It doesn't feel right to be feeling good about things, you know? It doesn't feel right. I feel like it's not supposed to be this way. It shouldn't, and I don't want it this way. Bringing a can of Monster into a bathroom is any sort of drink is crazy in the bathroom. But I think what it is just that like I've noticed I haven't had a lot of time for things. In fact, very often parts of my routine will just go completely missing for days on end. A good amount of days where I didn't even have time to take a shower, just because I've been so focused on things in like theater and school, and also just generally feeling unwell. I've been sick lately. I don't really know why. It's been changing throughout the days. Like I felt very sick on like Friday or Saturday, and so on Sunday I felt terrible, and Monday that turned into a headache, which then which gradually turned into a sore throat that I woke up with on Tuesday during performance night. Yeah, so that was strange, which eventually slowly turned into a cough that was terrible on Wednesday. And so I woke up today with like a bunch of mucus coughs that gradually got worse throughout the day, but I also woke up with a terrible bloody nose. I don't know what that was all about. Blood would not stop coming out when I was blowing my nose, but I kept feeling like I needed to clean my nose. Like there was so much in there. And eventually I got it all out. Like it wasn't producing blood, it was just sitting there. I don't know what was going on with that. I get like a nosebleed once every year. I don't know what that's all about. But it's also weird because my mental health has been getting better, but at the same time, it's like I'm left with nothing. There's nothing that's putting me in a good mood to distract me for everything that's bad, but there's nothing that's making me incredibly bad that I'm only focusing on that. So I'm seeing the details in a lot of things, and so I'm getting a lot of very minor stressors throughout the days, that don't last more than a day, honestly. And my psychosis has been getting worse, I'd say. I'm seeing things that I genuinely do not realize are fake, which something my shrink should probably hear about, but I'm not gonna see that one anymore. And I don't think we're gonna actually see a shrink anymore. I don't think they're sending me to one anymore. Just a therapist or few, and then I'm out. They aren't doing anything with me. They really don't pay attention to anything with me anymore. But it's like, my shrink said that, like, and even my friends, when I was first describing this stuff to them, they thought it was strange how I could tell these things were fake. But here's the thing. The things started out so exaggerated. I had to know I was seeing things. Seeing Fiddle there, or the weird peeker, those things aren't in real life. Obviously, I'm gonna know I'm seeing something, and like something's wrong with my brain if I'm seeing that. Obviously, I'm not gonna think it's real, but it's been getting worse gradually, because remember, some of these things would gradually look more physical. I'm not just seeing things, I'm seeing something that doesn't look like it should be real, actually in person. It starts to look more and more real, less flat, gradually, until eventually there is a full-on silhouette that I keep seeing there. See it, it moves, I can look directly at them for a bit. I feel them, like I feel their footsteps and their presence, like a real person. And recently, it's a weird thing with the bugs. Towards the beginning, I was getting really good at like gradually realizing which bugs were fake and what bugs are like actually real, because there's a lot of bugs in this house. So I was getting good at like figuring them out, and recently that's been stopping. I also used to have a weird thing where I would just see like some shadowy blur just go really fast across something, and I figured because of how common that was and like how similar in style they were to some of the earlier things I was seeing, I figured those were fake. But recently I haven't been so sure about them anymore. I've started to pair those up with the bugs because they no longer remind me of those terror demons. They now remind me of the bugs, honestly. I see them and I don't realize they're fake. I see them on me or nearby. I see them on me, I try to get them off and then realize there's nothing ever there. Or I just look at it like, what was that? And it's gone. Or I see it somewhere and I try to attack it or like get rid of it. Because I'm not gonna wait to see if it was real or not. If it's real, I'm attacking that thing. Who knows what that thing was? Do I got like a giant bug in my room or something? And it's always fake. And I always said this to myself, like, I always say this, but it sounds like I'm arguing that I could be a schizophrenic. I don't think I'm schizophrenic. But I always said that, like, these things, I can tell are fake, but if I saw a person, I wouldn't be able to tell that was fake. And then I started seeing people, and I wasn't able to tell they were fake. It's actually happening, and they're becoming more accurate over time. I'm just seeing people that aren't there, that are looking more and more realistic over time. And I can't tell that they're not real. Like, immediately. I need a few seconds of realization before seeing those aren't real, and maybe even them just disappearing right after. Like, that wasn't there, actually. So, my psychosis is getting worse. Also, my paranoia. I've got terrible paranoia, I've started noticing. I don't really notice the paranoia until, like, towards the end of, like, a paranoid episode, you know? That's what you call it, like, something really stresses me out, and I start being paranoid about everything, my surroundings, and what could be around. Yeah, it's not until the end of that I start to realize, I'm acting paranoid. What's happening? Why is this happening all of a sudden? And that usually pairs up with my psychosis. That usually springs up when I get the paranoid episode. So. I don't know why that's happening. But the thing is, I don't have bad mental health. That sounds like a crazy thing to say after describing this. My mental health feels fine, I just don't enjoy it. And that stuff does not seem like it's paired with the mental health in this way because I have nothing that would be causing that. That stuff's just happening and I don't know why. That's what's weird to me. So. Also, I heard ICE is, they've started showing up nearby. Not in this city, but nearby. And I assume they're gonna go to more throughout the state. And honestly, I don't really know my father's stance on it, but he's a full Republican and conservative fully. My mother is conservative, doesn't consider herself Republican fully, but she agrees with a lot of their sort of policies so far. Both my parents are Hispanic immigrants, and somehow my mother is openly talking to me about how she's fine with this whole deportation and ICE stuff. Because she got here, like, she acts like a person with privilege, despite the fact that she has so little privilege. Stop acting rich, we live impoverished. Like, genuinely, she lives like she's rich. We're not. She wastes her money on things that look expensive when they're actually fairly cheap. When in reality, don't spend that much stuff on cheap stuff. That still gets rid of a lot of money we could be using for things we need. And so, she got into America the easy way. Her parents kept moving back and forth between America and Colombia, New Jersey. And so she was born in New Jersey, stayed there very briefly as a baby, was raised in Colombia. Her entire childhood. She didn't come to America until she was like 15 or 16. But because of that very brief moment being in America, citizenship was really easy. So she got here the easy way, and she doesn't care that other people are being deported because she doesn't realize that not all of them are illegal. So, hearing that ICE is nearby, I really don't want anything bad happening to me or people I know. But I hope it becomes noticeable enough for her to realize something's up. So I hope they come here, stuff happens where she realizes, oh, these aren't the good guys. This is not good at all. So that she stops supporting this stuff. Anyways, there's been this weird sickness that's been spreading throughout my theater class, mostly with the throat too. I didn't notice this until like after it was happening to me. I had that terrible sore throat on Tuesday, the performance day, and then my friend talked about how like they also had like a bit of a rough throat, and just today they've lost their voice. Genuinely. It's not a sore throat anymore, it doesn't hurt, but they've lost their voice. It's very quiet and like how it sounds when you've lost your voice, you know? So rehearsal was very difficult today. I keep forgetting. There's things I was going to talk about, but I keep rambling about things. Like that whole weird stuff with my mother when I was going to talk about ICE. You cannot tell me I don't have ADHD or something. Everyone in my life is incredibly sure I have it. I'm very sure I have it. I don't know why my shrink completely thought it was perfectly fine until hearing about my psychosis. He said I was dressed happy and casually while describing in my report all black attire that like sounds the more it was described. Not like someone living a stereotypical happy life. He says the most depressive part about me was my expression, not my clothing. I didn't have a sad expression. I wasn't feeling depressed that day. Or that week. But, I don't know why that sickness sprang through theater. I don't know if I just got something that's been spreading through our class, because that happens occasionally in theater, honestly. Especially around performances somehow. whatever. As I was gonna say, I think something about this weird, like, whole mentality thing is probably just that I'm not able to be distracted by everything that's bad because I don't have time to do things because, like, focusing on the stuff that's happening with theater because we were getting so close to our performance. I was focusing on a lot on, like, really tacking in my blocking and having to figure out the costumes for my characters, and I was like just preparing myself for being on stage, and the fact that I'm having to go through like all these assignments because, like, hey, Spanish teacher's been giving another full-on assignment that's like really long every single day, full conjugation of, like, past tenses are confusing, man. They don't make sense. And I've just been sort of stressed out, like, my biology assignments, the ones I haven't turned in. I'm really hoping I get more, like, actual assignments, not just notes, because I always turn those in. I'm pretty good with those. I was really hoping that the tests we did would do anything to my grade. It didn't do anything. Changed, like, a percentage, but it rounds the whole thing, the whole grade, meaning it's still the exact same grade as before. So yeah, I think I've just been, like, very distracted to the point where I'm, and also the fact that I was, like, very sick and haven't had time to do things at home. So, like, I'll be at home thinking about theater stuff, worrying about my assignments, even if I don't end up being able to do them, and then realizing I don't have that much time to do anything when I'm at home. Somehow try and take a shower, do some sort of routine, immediately go to bed. I don't have time to be worrying about things. There's no time for me to really realize anything bad is happening to me, so I think that's why it's just been feeling so empty in my mental state. I just haven't had time to really focus on if things are good or bad or anything like that. I don't know. And it was one of my friends who I met when we were both in Drama 3 last year. This person's in Drama 4 now. They've been, like, really supportive of me lately. I don't know why, but, like, very nice, and said that I'm, like, one of their favorite people. Me and one other person, favorite people in Drama 3. Really rooting for me for some reason, like, thinking I'm gonna do good. Really nice. I don't know how to respond to such things. I'm not good with talking about such, like, emotional stuff or, like, deep things. So, like, I'm very bad at communicating this type of stuff. I haven't had to do that at home through my entire childhood. Earlier today, I was thinking about the fact that, like, I didn't get a lot of the same things a lot of other kids grew up with, like, you ever a baby? Brother's like, do that. Yeah, when I was a baby, I didn't get that. So when I was a toddler, I asked my mother to a few times. She never did it. She never understood what I meant. And I forgot the other example I was thinking of. Just in general, things you should have, and, like, forms of affection too. I got some, but I didn't get a lot when I was a kid. Affection is very weird in my family. In this household, I haven't gotten a lot of it, so I don't know how to deal with it or communicate this type of stuff. It all feels mushy-gushy, and it's uncomfortable and awkward and embarrassing and something I'm not used to, so I don't really like it. I've talked a lot about how birthdays are and how I don't like them on this channel. It's like that. If you know what I'm talking about from previous videos. So yeah, I don't really respond well with this person when I do this stuff, but I try to. I try. It was, yeah, I think it was Wednesday. I was there. They felt very bad about the fact I wasn't responding very well. I don't know if I was genuinely just seeming absent that day, or it was literally just me trying not to talk because I had a terrible sore throat that day. I don't know, but I felt really bad after that. So I guess that's the extent of my mental health right now. That's something that got me feeling bad slightly. That's it. I'm doing good then. If, like, that's it, I'm not worrying about, like, things I've been worrying about in these past videos. In the back of my mind, I worry about shit like ice, and this is the thing that got me worked up yesterday. I'm doing good. Genuinely. ICE is a thing that's on my mind a lot because they don't only go for the brown people. Those are just the main ones they go for. But they've gotten white Hispanics before. My mother has a heavy Colombian accent, white Hispanic. My father, brown Hispanic, also a heavy accent. It's still something to worry about, you know? I keep looking at the time and thinking, we're making good time, before realizing, 16 is not as good as 15 minutes. 16 is a lot closer to 20 minutes than I would have preferred. I realized just from one of the videos, I went to an hour, and after that I made a video that was 20 minutes, and I realized I lost my around 10-minute streak that I kept getting with a lot of videos in my head. Did I actually get those? I think so. I haven't checked. I'm just pretty sure. And that's when these videos were doing a lot better, reaching a lot more people who were actually like commenting, support and stuff. I like when people watch these things and have them in the background and actually listen to what I say and then tell me stuff. It's a nice thing to do, you know? I like the idea that I'm not just talking into a void, you know? Like, people are hearing me. So I'm a bit disappointed that it's at 21 minutes, what? So, I hope I gradually get, like, shorter and shorter videos while still being as descriptive. Because I feel like I was less descriptive in this video than my 10-minute ones. And it was all just very discombobulated and not chronological in this one anyways, so it'll get better gradually if I keep recording this stuff. I don't know, I've been recording a lot less and less because again, I don't got much to talk about anymore. Go back.